Hey guys, sorry this is a day late. Gish is going on this week, so everything got crazy. I meant to upload this last night before we went to D&D, but obviously that didn't happen. It's Thursday morning. So I hope you like. It's a little long, but I hope you wait until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification. Give me a big thumbs up if you like it, and comment down below. Answer the questions. Comment. It always helps. Hey guys, welcome back to another Witchy Wednesday. This week we are talking about divination, what we use for divination, and our viewpoints and our opinions on what we like and don't like, and what has and has not worked for us. So again, everyone disagrees, everyone learns differently, everyone interprets differently. Everyone has their own opinions, everyone has their likes and dislikes. So our viewpoints may not necessarily match yours. Just bear that in mind. This is our viewpoint. Oh wow, that was weird. Just went really like dark green. Anyway, so do you want to start off? Or?
So, babe, what is divination?
As you open a soda. So, divination is essentially a seeing into the future or the past, fortune telling, as an easy dubbed down way to do it. You know, if you go to the Ren Fair, they have the psychic readings and the palm readings and stuff. There's all forms of divination.
I completely forgot about palmistry.
Yeah, I mean, there's like one line that's the life line and one that's the love line, and
I could go grab. We have a sheet.
Yeah, we have a sheet, but I think it's actually in my BOS binder. Anyway,
we don't do that.
I've had a palm reading once, and I was like 8, 9, 10 years old or something at the time, maybe 12 or 13. And the chick who gave it to me, I think she's full of a load of crap. Not saying that she can't do it or she is unable. It just, when you do a palm reading for someone who's like 11, 12, 13 years old, how accurate is that going to be at that point? You know, she gave me this whole line of like I was going to be married like 3 times, have something like 10 kids or something, or 3 kids or something. Like I was going to be married multiple times. Okay, yeah, that's happened. I've been married twice. I've had 1 miscarriage. But she said that I was going to be married something like 3 times, have a lot of kids, and a bunch of other weird stuff. I mean, at that age, you're impressionable. So, like, if you take it for the God-honest truth, you're probably going to set yourself up to be married multiple times, have multiple kids, you know. Anyway.
I had the exact opposite experience my first palm reading. My first palm reading was down in Florida by this very nice Spanish gypsy lady. And she told me so a little bit of backstory. We were dating at the time, and it was like summer break or something, and I had gone down to Florida with my family, met this gypsy lady, got a palm reading, and she said,
oh, this was the winter break one. This is, yeah.
It was some break. She said that we would be together for forever, but there would be a point where we were broken up. And, you know, at that time I was, you know, not in that mindset of, yeah, sure, okay, that's gonna happen. You know, when you're a young teenager, you think your first love is gonna be with you forever. We will not get into the fate of other things, but long story short, what she said actually, wow, that is weird. Sorry guys, we're staring at the camera and it's doing this green shift thing.
I think a lot of it's the light and stuff, so.
Could be. Anyway, a lot of what she said has come true. We did break up, but we got back together, and yeah, it was a eye-opening experience because I was still early on my path. I wasn't really heavy into this stuff just yet. But
I also want to put this in here that the chick who gave me my palm reading was also my next door neighbor's daughter, who was a teenager and dabbling in the dark side of the craft. And, you know, her mom was my babysitter. And so it was one of those, she was dabbling and, you know, the craft had just come out or something. And
the movie, yeah.
Yeah, the movie had just come out. So, like, it was, like, all of that. And she was dabbling. And apparently she says that I do my path wrong because I don't do sacrifices. So, again, everyone's path is different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let's get into divination. So we talked about what divination is. It's the art of divining.
Yeah. Art of seeing things either past.
Like Merlin was he could divine to some degree, I think.
That's a whole nother video.
Well, like if you read Shakespeare, the Three Witches and what is it, Macbeth, Macbeth or Hamlet or whatever, you know, they're in a cauldron. They predict, they essentially divine over their cauldron. So you can essentially use almost anything to divine with. You know, there's tea leaves. You know, Harry Potter is heavy in it. Like they have the tea divinations and stuff.
What was that? Second movie? Sorry.
Something like that.
All right. Everybody down.
Sorry, the dogs have... Again, it's retrograde, so the dogs are being a little weird. Jazzy, you need to lay down and settle.
There we go.
Good girl.
Okay.
So, anyway, so the first thing we're gonna do, well, Joe's gonna do it, is... Because I don't really deal with these too much, but there's the crystal ball and the scrying mirror. And, well, look, you can see what I use. I use my...
Yeah, the scrying mirror is great.
Yeah, I use my phone. The phone's great right now. I do everything on my phone. Sorry, little tangent. So anyway, let's start with that.
Mm-hmm.
Since that's kind of the least used item.
Yeah, honestly...
It's a usable divination item.
It is. And I have used it in the past. But it is more of a, like, decorative item in our house than an actual tool.
Yeah.
Just because we're not versed.
It's a tool in and of itself. It's not necessarily, oh, we got it and it just sits there. We don't use it for divination. We use it more because, you know, a lot of rituals, you know, it is in and of itself a mirror-like object. Mm-hmm. So, like, we use it for that. We use it, there have been times where it's, because it lives on our altar, it has gotten really dark and cloudy in it. You know, so, like, we do use it for other purposes other than divination.
Yeah, I was going to say that it, for me, really, it's more of a warning system.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of what it is we have it set up. We have crystals all over the place, all over the property. We have borders up. And so it is more of a visual instead of like an audio, like, you know, an alarm system where like you hear the alarm go off. We have the visual magical alarm.
It hasn't changed colors yet, which
it hasn't done like the forget me or the forgotten ball or whatever. And
forget me not thing.
Yeah, and Harry Potter where Neville, whatever his name is, he gets it and he's like, I just don't know what I forgot. It hasn't done that yet, but to me, it has gotten cloudy and murky. So, you know, it can be used for more than just divination. I think we got it. Did we buy it or did your mom give it to us?
As a Christmas gift? Think it was a Christmas present, and that's what that box is that's sitting on my desk.
Is the box that...
Actually, it's in the... Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so... I would take that.
That was a roundabout kind of
thing, but whatever. So he'll talk about the scrying mirror because, again, I don't do the scrying mirror. I don't scry because it's... Not everyone can do every divination. Divination's not for everybody. So...
In fact, in olden times, it was usually a certain person's job. It wasn't like all magic users were diviners. You would go to the diviner, the seer.
Like if you know, like during history, like if you've actually really dwelled in it, you know, the village had the wise man who was the medicine man, the wise or wise woman, you know, who predicted the future, the wise community, you know, the council of the wise people, you know, they all had their job. There was the medicine man, you know, the one who could, you know, the stargazer person, you know, they all had their different jobs within as being the village wise person, you know. I don't know if I explained that well or not. I don't. What'd she say?
I don't know.
Sorry, he's divining with the scrying mirror now.
A lot of dead space, dear.
We're waiting on you, like... It's...
I don't know how to explain it. I just do it. And I know like, that's a lame kind of...
Well, okay, so what is a scrying mirror?
A scrying mirror is a shiny black disc that... Honestly, if you don't have it, you don't need it. What you can do if you want to get into this brand of divination is use a black bowl and put water in it. Same basic concept. And through the imperfections and the waves, if you're using water, you can see things and get impressions, like just now, that terrible dead space, which is probably going to be cut. It started to get cloudy and there were shapes, but it wasn't concrete, so I didn't voice anything. It was just very interesting.
Okay, there's also runes.
Runestones, which we got here.
And tarot cards, tarot decks. Most decks, if you get the big complete box set, comes with like a big in-depth book. We have this deck, but this is an Anmore book. The Green Witch Tarot Companion. My decks, I had the books at one point. I don't know where they are anymore.
Some of them are floating around here somewhere.
I believe both my books are
gone.
We might have the Celtic Dragon one floating around, or it got taken. But the other one I lost in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if you don't get like the big box set where it comes with the companion book, I believe all decks come with like a little booklet
they will either come
it
with
essentially gives you the overview of like what the cards are, but not necessarily what each card in that particular deck mean, because that's what the big companion book's for. The runes don't always come with a book. I don't think any of Joe's have.
No.
But we got the practical guide to the runes. And it's essentially, it goes in depth for each rune, how to read them, different ways to read them.
So, just because it popped in my head, a little sidebar.
Sidebar.
You know how the way you pronounce it?
Runes.
Ruins.
Runes. It's all on how you pronounce it.
Right.
I have a lisp. I have a speech problem.
Chris Perkins pronounces it the same way. Chris Perkins, for those that don't know, is
D&D guy.
D&D guy. He is the... I'm going to get this wrong, and if Mr. Perkins happens to stumble upon this video, I apologize.
And we will make sure we research it, make sure it's correct. If it is incorrect, we will have the correction down below, and probably the description box.
He is like the creative director, or one of the lead
He's
story
high
guys.
up in D&D. In the Adventures League. Like,
he's high up in the company, period.
Well, high up in the company, yes, but like when it comes to like the Adventures League, that like the legit like everything you score, where you can play at one game and then take your character to like a convention and bounce around. He's high up in with that stuff too. So like if you play D&D and you play like Storm King's Thunder, yeah, like he has a hand in. That lighting is really
Do you want to try turning off?
No, it's I just think it's the angle we have it at. And...
Okay. So, runestones. Runestones are stones, literal stones with symbols carved into them called runes, which, okay, a little bit of history. Runes are the ancient Nordic
There we go.
writing system, essentially. Although I believe they were used as divination first, then it got turned into a writing system. And not all divination stones. So, okay, bit of clarification. There are rune stones, and then there are divination stones. Runes will always have little symbols on them. Divination stones will have symbols or pictographs or something that can be used to divine. And they aren't always... Okay.
I want to add a side note here. With like the rune stones, they can come in stones, they can come in bones, they can come in like wood chips.
Wood chips? Yeah, I was just getting to that.
So it doesn't have to be stones. Rune divination items.
Thank you.
It's
I said that in my head, but
yeah.
it never came out.
So like don't think just because we say rune stones they have to be stones, because if you research it, like depending on an area, like people use bones to do rune readings and divination and stuff.
Yeah, casting the bones is very popular in many faiths, many traditions. Most of them are the animistic traditions where they have like animal spirits and totems and stuff like that. And one thing that I would say is I don't like the plasticky junk. Don't get the plasticky junk if you can help it. Always get like actual material, actual stone, wood,
and you can
bone.
make your own. Like, go
Yeah.
out and, like, if you're at the beach and you collect shells and you want to put runes on those, there you go.
Yeah, that's totally legit.
Stones,
bag,
you know, wood, whatever. I'm going to touch briefly on this because this is an item that can be used for divination. Well, we won't touch Ouija boards because that's not.
We can mention it because this is the ancestor of the Ouija board.
So the Ouija board, if you actually research it, is a tool to communicate with the other side, whether it's those who have passed on, demons, angels, whatever, anything in the other realms. Another way to kind of communicate, and if you've watched Charmed, you'll see that they use this as a locator, but the pendulum. And you can use it as, you can ask questions, yes, no questions, and in that aspect, you can use it as a fortune-telling device, because you can ask it questions of the future. Will I get this job? You know, yes, no. If you ask it yes, no questions, maybe questions, it will sway, it will swing. You can also use it to help fix or see what way your chakras are running. We do it all the time. There's other communication boards you can use this with. We do not keep Ouija boards in our house. We have enough issues and we don't need another reason to invite things in. I used to play with an Ouija board as a child because my sister had it and the things that are in my mother's apartment. Because of that dabbling, I seriously need to go over there and like cleanse that apartment, or when they move out, whoever gets that apartment's gonna have a world of hell. Unless if it just follows them.
I would say, and this is just something that I've been thinking about, I would not mind making a very heavily warded, protected spirit board. Something simple that...
If we make our own spirit board where we can use like a pendulum to ask it questions and stuff, I would not mind doing that. But if going to the store and buying like Hasbro's a Ouija board, no. They made a movie out of that. Like, that tells you how wrong it is. Like, how weird and crazy it gets. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about is tarot cards. Tarot, however you want to pronounce it.
Tarot. It's
like,
French.
It's like athame, you know.
Grimoire.
You know, it's one of those regional, however you were kind of taught to say it.
Yeah. So, side note, just because I'm thinking about it.
And I have to unknot this. I should have done this beforehand.
Question. Tarot and grimoire are clearly Frenchy. Where does athame come from?
Athame?
Yes.
Or athame or whatever.
I think it's Greek.
Well, I mean, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of the origins of the words, where they come from, I really don't know.
Where do you believe it comes from? Because
my head. No.
well,
it could be Greek. It could be English. It could be Gaelic. It could, you know, it's one of those. You know, as a wise person traveling from one village to the next, you know, and the bards and, you know, the storytellers who go from one place to the next, words change. Words get passed around, you know. So without actually, like, completely researching the word, I don't know. But anyway, so one deck I have not used this deck in quite a few years. I still have it because it has not...
Some things you get really tied to.
Yeah, this is the first, well, this is not the very first deck I bought, but this was the first deck I bought in Tennessee. And I fell in love with this deck because it spoke to me on a very, very deep level. and I am very connected to it and tied to it. And this is a shape-shifting deck. I will try and find some. So like, this is one of the cards. I think it was DJ Conway and someone else who did this deck. One was the artist and one did the book. Again, I no longer have the book to this. Now, tarot cards originated, I believe, with the traveling gypsies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. The decks we know of now, I think, came with from them. But it started out actually as when playing cards were like first coming out back in the really old days. They had very elaborate pictures, like elaborate pictures. And so people used those in plain sight to do divination, to do readings. You can use a normal playing deck to do tarot. You can use he's got this, it's from D&D, but
so my favorite deck, and the one that I've been drawn to many things. Come to be drawn to, wow, I know words, I speak English. Sorry. This is essentially a tarot deck, but in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, which is D&D, if we haven't explained that already. It is known as a Taroka deck, and it functions the same way, and it has very dark, macabre pictures. But this is just to kind of emphasize that you don't need an actual tarot deck. You can use anything, a deck from a game,
playing cards. You can get a blank deck of cards and make your own. There's oracle cards, there's angel cards, there's all kinds of different divination decks for different purposes. But this is the other deck I have. This is the Celtic Dragon deck. This is the back of it. And the reason I got this, believe it or not, was not because of Diana. Well, it was, but it wasn't. She was a former friend of mine, and she had this deck. And at the time, I was not interested in dragons. And then a dragon came into my life. And I moved home from Tennessee. Moved back in with my dad. And, you know, I was humming and hawing and looking at different decks because as I was kind of out... Okay, where was I? Anyway, I was kind of outgrowing my shapeshifter deck, but I wasn't. It was one of those... I was at the point where I was looking for a secondary deck to have, so I wasn't always using the same deck. I love my shapeshifter deck, but it was one of those looking for something else, you know, because that one wasn't always reading for everybody, and it was kind of telling me it was time to like branch out and learn, because different decks teach you different things. And so I was going to the turning wheel, and I kept going back to this deck. It kept talking to me, and you know, going to the store here and there, going back to the store, you know, and it kept talking to me. I finally bought it. So I've had it for about 10 years. I've had the other deck about, I don't know. No, I've had this one about 8 years, 9 years. Another one I've had about 10, 11 years. So it's, you know, as you grow on your path, you know, you may end up start collecting lots of different decks or runes or anything. Multiple different types. You know, you might have scrying mirrors and decks and stones and, you know, and you use each one for different things. Daily affirmations, meditation, you know, to help your astral, to focus to communicate with animal guides or anything, to divine the future, past, present for anybody. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that different things will call to you at different points in your path.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. I kind of, in the beginning, got myself pigeonholed into the thought that, oh, I am this kind of practitioner. I can't focus on tarot decks and this and that. But those things were talking to me. So I was rejecting it, and it's okay to look at other things.
So here's a question for you.
I might have an answer for you.
Do you believe tarot cards are more for women and runes are for guys?
I did. At that point that I just talked about.
Well, now, do you believe...
No. It is a tool, and tools are non-gender specific.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked this question, and maybe you can comment down below your opinion on it, because, I'm curious. Do you believe tarot cards are for women to read and to give readings with, and runes are for guys to give readings with? Because I've had tarot readings from both women and men.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I ask, again, is a former friend of ours always swore and said, and she was adamant about it, that she could never read runes because runes are for guys and tarot for women, and so that's why she's always had tarot cards, because, runes are for the druids and they're for the men, and
there has always been that kind of stigma to it, so it is...
I mean, I can see the stigma, but, my thought on it is, again, you pigeonholed yourself, but you've gotten out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, multiple things are going to call to you at multiple times in your life along your path. You may have runes that call to you. You may never do readings with them, but, you may use them for affirmations or rituals, or, have them lined up on the wall with the runes showing, and, they're part of your alphabet, or, you write your Book of Shadows or your grimoire or whatever in this language. So, it doesn't always have to be for a divination purpose. Mm-hmm. But it's like, hate's such a strong word. I don't like it when other people try to pigeonhole me and say that I can't do a certain type of divination, or I can't do something on my path because I'm a woman, or only men can do that, or, it's like saying that women are meant to be in the house barefoot and pregnant and the men go out and work.
Mm-hmm.
Times have changed, things change, we evolve. Why can't magic evolve and women do it all just like men can?
So...
Sorry, that just kind of went on a really weird tangent.
That was a bit of a rant, but I have a question because of that rant.
But I mean, it's...
What about